What up, peeps? On today's video, in the spirit of Easter, I am going to be watching videos on how Easter candy is made. Not you guys, but this year I am watching my sugar intake, so I'm not sure if these videos are going to be fun or torturous. So I guess we'll find out. So go grab your favorite snack or candy or both and come join me as we go on this journey together. Wait, what? My shirt? Oh, where did I get it? I'm so glad you asked. Fab 5 Designs, of course. Fab 5 is the perfect place for all of your custom creations. So hop on over and see what Stacy can do for you. She might even be able to make you a shirt as cute as mine. Let's watch how peeps are made. Well, this video is
in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania at the Peeps Factory. My name is Caitlin Serbian. We make 5.5 million Peeps per day, which is about 2 billion Peeps.
Oh, look at the yellow bunnies.
Today we're making yellow. Yellow is America's best-selling color of Peeps. Corn syrup, gelatin, and air.
Look.
The Peeps are deposited onto a thin layer of sugar
I would just eat them
that's
just like
already
that.
on the belt. They go through a sugar shower, and this is where they get covered in sugar from beak to tail. Sensors spot the chicks approaching, and this is where they get their peepsonality added, and a machine adds 2 eyes. The Peeps then continue down the conveyor belt, cooling off before the clusters are packaged into each of their own trays before they're placed
That's the end of the video?
case.
Oh, bummer.
Peeps are enjoyed at all seasons, not just Easter.
That's right. This next one is going to blow your mind.
The jelly bean is a colorful treat, but unfortunately, no one is exactly sure when the jelly bean was invented and how. It's believed that the jelly center dates back to biblical times, as a candy called Turkish delight. Many centuries later, the outer shell was added, thus making jelly beans we know today. Jelly beans come in a large variety of colors, even though they only come in one flavor. To make jelly beans, liquid is heated in a large kettle to 347 degrees Fahrenheit. Solids are then mixed into the liquid as an agitator blends it all together.
Wait for it.
Meanwhile, at a local cocaine production plant, things are going great. This massive amount of Colombian nose candy is worth up to $400,000. Normally, the cocaine would be scraped off the machinery, but
Pause. I can't do it to y'all. Let this be a lesson to you, internet goers. Don't believe everything you see on YouTube. I was looking for jelly bean videos, come across this guy, and thought, this is great. I was going with it until he got to the point about the cocaine. And then I was like, there's no way. I went as far as to Google it, okay? Is jelly beans made in a cocaine factory? Don't panic. Jelly beans are not made in a cocaine factory. Just wanted to put that out there.
Bean is colourful,
So here
but
is
its
the
beginnings
real
are
video
a bit of a
from
grey area.
Discovery.
It's believed that this bean's jelly centre dates back to biblical times and Turkish delight. Many centuries later, the outer shell was added and the jelly bean was on its way to sweet success.
So as you can see, it's the same content. It's just the guy that did the voiceover added his own little thing to it.
To make jelly beans, liquid sugar is heated in a kettle to about 175 degrees Celsius. Glucose is added, and then starch.
Starch.
An agitating device mixes it all together. Elsewhere in the factory, starch spills out of a drum onto large trays.
Cornstarch, people. Cornstarch, not cocaine. It's okay.
A leveler moves back and forth to even out the starch. The trays then move forward and a brush knocks off the excess to be recycled. A moulding board now presses down into the starch. 156 jelly bean impressions per tray. The impressions in the starch will serve as moulds for the jelly bean centres. Nozzles inject the sugar and starch mix cooked in the kettle into the starch moulds. This system can make almost 1 million jelly bean centres every hour.
1 million.
Next, the conveyor belt takes the jelly bean centres to the drying room, where they stay for 24 hours. This solidifies them and they become chewier.
Wow.
Arms flip the trays of centres and starch and dump them into a drum that will separate them. When the trays flip back, they're refilled with starch and the moulding process begins again.
Can you imagine having to go through and clean those machines?
Meanwhile, the dried jelly bean centres, now separated from the starch, tumble onto a wire mesh conveyor system. It transports them to a steam belt, which dampens them. This readies them for the next step, sugar coating. The jelly bean centres go into a sander
coating
drum that tosses them around, while nozzles spray them with sugar. In another part of the factory, liquid sugar flows out of a kettle into a tub. Blue food colouring is added to the syrup. This mix, called the engrossing syrup, is added along with some flavouring to the jelly bean centres as they tumble around in a tilted spinning pan. Sugar is added to the sticky blue mixture. This process is repeated 4 times in order to build up a coating around the gummy centre. The next day, when the beans have hardened, hot syrup is added and the beans are tossed around again. This polishes the jelly beans. There's a lot of sweet stuff here. 124,000 jelly beans in each pan.
Wow.
A little wax is added. Nice. And as the pan spins, the beans rub against each other, distributing the wax. This adds gloss to the polish.
So shiny.
Then the pan stops spinning and the jelly beans air dry for 24 hours to allow the glaze to set.
Look at the purple.
After 3.5 days, this big batch of jelly beans
I don't know
is
that I've
ready.
ever seen a purple jelly bean. Maybe I have and just haven't paid attention. Because there they
move
are.
in a multicoloured mass along a series of conveyors.
I'm not really
They
a
fall
jelly
into
bean
a scale
fan.
system
Well,
that divides them into portions.
They're
Then a
not my
trap
first
door
choice.
opens and they drop down a chute
But
to
I
the
do like the
packaging
licorice
department. Once they're in the bag, the jelly beans are ready to sweeten your day.
Bean Boozled ones are really fun too. Cadbury cream eggs. Who doesn't love a Cadbury cream egg?
Easter is an incredibly exciting time. It's also a very important time for us because it is one of the biggest selling seasons. We need to get Easter right. We're making around about 47 million Easter eggs. Taking over the whole year, we have around about 30% of the chocolate markets. At Easter time, we have around 50%. The best seller for us is the Cadbury cream egg, the filled eggs. We make around about 1 million of those, 1.2 million every single day. A cream egg is a solid milk chocolate, Cadbury milk chocolate, and inside that you've got fondant, white fondant, and obviously
Did
a little bit of
anybody
yellow
know that
fondant
it was
as well to
fondant?
replicate what an egg looks like.
Oh my gosh.
We would just slam the two together. It's called a book mold, and it closes like you're closing a book. Like most chocolate manufacturing these days, most of it is automated. The Easter eggs you'll be eating and enjoying this Easter season were made in the last, well, it could have been the last few weeks, but it also could have been the last few months as well.
Oh my gosh.
Here we are in
so
Easter
good.
2014. Easter 2015 is probably pretty much put to bed in terms of the planning, and we're now working on Easter 2016. A lot of people think that cream egg is on sale all year round. It isn't.
Cream egg
To
season
me,
ends
the
on
cream egg
Easter
is a little ray
Sunday.
of spring sunshine in the dark days of winter.
So stock up so you can have them all year long. All this candy making is making me hungry. But since I can't have candy, I'm just going to have some apples and peanut butter. It's a good trade-off, right? Smarties. Those aren't Smarties. Those are like M&Ms. And why are they playing Christmas music on an Easter candy video? Oh, that's the name of the candy thing. The candy egg. Let's watch how this big, giant, 13-pound,
Receiving
$600
chocolate eggs for
egg was made.
Easter is a tradition seen in many parts of the world, a tradition that began in Europe in the early 19th century. One of the companies keeping this tradition alive is Betty's Bakery, who has multiple locations in Yorkshire, UK. The 100-year-old company is known for its elaborate, hand-decorated chocolate eggs.
It's really important to Betty's to keep the old traditions, everything we try to keep handmade without using machinery.
Betty's 2019 egg weighs 13 pounds and costs 495 pounds, or about 646 US
buying
dollars.
that?
Although unfortunately, this particular egg is only shipped within the UK. Here's how it's made.
Please enlighten.
The process begins with making a small mold and a large shell mold out of chocolate. Sometimes the chocolate can be colored. This one is colored pink. A hole is cut out in one of the halves of the larger shell so that the smaller one can attach to it. This forms a cradle. Next, a trim made out of sugar paste is created to decorate the center of the shell. Decorative piping is added to the trim.
We use royal icing, which is really a dying art at the moment. But in cake decoration, we try and train new people, so it's not a lost skill. And we also really encourage handcrafted skills to be in the bakery.
Flowers such as roses, rosebuds, and golden leaves are then handmade with the same sugar paste.
How fun would it be to have an Easter tradition start where instead of dyeing eggs, you make chocolate eggs and decorate them? I may do that this year.
Stems are carefully piped onto the egg using white chocolate that was dyed green. The flowers are then attached to the piped leaves. A medium-sized chocolate egg is made and will eventually be the center of the larger pink egg. This egg is painted gold and the word Betty's is piped on. It's then placed into its cradle. Additional small flowers are then added to the golden egg. The two halves are conjoined with chocolate. Other previous eggs include elaborate designs such as butterflies, cherry blossom trees, and even little bumblebees.
I need one made right right
Who
now.
would you gift this egg to?
Myself?
They
Here's
seem
another
like
punch
nothing but a
video.
futuristic
Marcus can show
substance
something
from
different.
another time. Marshmallows are actually one of the most ancient treats in the world, dating all the way back to ancient Egypt, thousands of years ago, when people used to make fluffy sweet treats using starch, wheat, and sap. But how exactly does something so chewy but so airy come to be? Let's find out. Collecting the ingredients. Unlike olden times when marshmallows were made with sap from the marshmallow plant, nowadays marshmallows are made from just a few major ingredients that can be divided into a few groups. First are the main components that make up the bulk of the food, which are a lot of corn syrup, cornstarch, and water. Depending upon the company, stuff like wheat flour or even egg whites may also be used. Secondly, there's stuff like the flavors, colors, preservatives, and chemical stabilizers, all to make sure that the cloudy sugary treats remain as puffy for as long as possible. And finally, there is the ingredient that holds everything together and gives marshmallows their characteristic bouncy feel: gelatin. Gelatin is the same substance used to make Jell-O, gummy bears, and even some jams and soups. And in all those places, it plays the role of giving things a solid, chewy, and jelly-like texture. That being said, the production of gelatin is a lot less sweet and candy-like, as it's actually derived from animal bones and connective
y'all
tissue after they've been discarded. Nonetheless, whether the ingredients are gathered from, the first step of marshmallow making begins as long as everything enters the first door. And that step is mixing.
However, if you want more of a vegan approach to your gelatin because you don't like the fact it comes from cows, you can also get what they call agar, A-G-A-R-A-G-A-R, and it is a gelatin substitute. So there you go.
It's a bit of a lackluster step, but don't be fooled. Even a single bad streak or slightly unmixed batter can greatly change the outcome of how a marshmallow is going to form. This is why a lot of companies go to great lengths to make sure that mixing conditions like temperature, speed, and moisture all remain the same. Regardless of that, this step takes place in two different stages. In the first stage, the main ingredients like cornstarch, corn syrup, and any egg whites or wheat are mixed together for a few minutes. Then, once they form a rudimentary slurry, a set amount of clean water is added, which is then both mixed and brought to a boil and continued to mix at around 240 degrees Fahrenheit. This cooks the cornstarch or any other raw ingredients and also helps the mixture come together into one good uniform mass. That being said, to make sure no unmixed chunks of
Marshmallow
material
fluff
remain in the final product, the whole mixture is passed through a strainer to remove any remaining clumps, which is the second
Look how
stage.
beautiful.
And so from here, we move on to the next one, whipping. Now, you might have noticed that we still haven't added any gelatin or any other flavorings or chemical agents to the mix. This is because they're added once the mixture has become homogenized, immediately before it goes through yet another rough mixing regimen. And this time, instead of slow, heavy mixing, the mixture is mixed super fast so as to aerate the whole thing, much like how you would make whipped cream. This is also why some people like to say that air is the fourth kind of ingredient that makes a marshmallow a marshmallow. This is exactly how things like macaroons are made from aerated egg whites, or how cream goes from a liquid to a thick solid mass that is still spreadable. And besides the aeration, another important marshmallow making step also takes place during this time. You see, while the mixture is thoroughly being beaten by industrial mixers, the gelatin slowly relaxes and binds the entire mixture together while also trapping a ton of air inside to
Beautiful,
create the
beautiful.
end fluffy
Look at that
product,
cute
while
little
at the
creation.
same time, it also adds a lot of chew and structure to the previously viscous liquidy mixture. Now, once the mixture has been thoroughly whipped until it reaches double or triple its original volume, it can be transferred to the next step, the most obvious one, the shaping. Now, if you were making marshmallows at home, at this point you would simply set the mixture aside in a pan to cool. But in a factory, the process looks a lot different. In fact, the best way to describe it would be to compare it to a pasta extruder. You see, the whipped mixture, once it's been cooled down sufficiently, but not too much as to still keep it shapeable, it is sent onto a conveyor belt where a ton of shapers form the entire thing into one long slab of the marshmallow mixture. This slab is then sent into a heat exchanger, where cool air is sent through the marshmallows, further making them fluffy while also cooling the slab down so it holds its shape. Then, before it can cool down completely, it's passed through a mold which turns the paste into long tubes. These tubes can be twirled around like a rope to create special shapes, combined together to make double-flavored marshmallows, or extruded as is. And almost immediately after passing the extruder, a very sharp slicer cuts the marshmallows into their signature cylindrical shape. From there, a machine dusts them with a mixture of sugar and cornstarch to prevent them from sticking together and giving them that smooth candy-like texture that we know and love. At this point, we are pretty much done, but some residual heat still remains, which brings us to the next step, cooling. Once the marshmallow pillows, as they are referred to, fall into a massive drum so they can reach room temperature, this drum also serves the purpose of mixing the marshmallows together by spinning them fast, which gets rid of excess powder while also distributing it evenly. And once they have cooled down completely, they fall onto another conveyor belt, which takes them to the next and one of the last stations, testing. Now, while their recipe might sound simple, as we mentioned earlier, a slight variation in the amounts of the ingredients or mixing can change a lot, leading to too gooey, sticky, or tough marshmallows. This is why before a batch can be packaged, it's checked by a few workers for a bunch of things. One of them involves what is called a snap test, where a marshmallow is cut and pressed onto to see how long it takes to bounce back. Packaging. Now, homemade marshmallows are not
So this wasn't the video I thought it was. I thought it was another Peeps video because it even says how it's made, Marshmallow Peeps. But that's not the case. This is just talking about how to make marshmallows or how marshmallows are made at home or in the factory. And they're just using the Peeps as a outliner image, you know, through the whole process. So we learned a little something new, though. Kind of makes me want to make marshmallows. Reese's. Oh, this is long process how it's made. We're starting all the way from the beginning. They're just now picking the peanuts. Hershey, Pennsylvania, where the real magic happens. Yummy. Who wants to jump in there? Okay, I hope you're gonna give me a little more insight because I need more than that. No. I need to see how it's made.
Doesn't love a good candy bar.
Okay,
Candies
I had to
are
go
one of the
find
best
a new
snacks in the
video
world,
because that
but
just
when they're
was
covered in chocolates, which are perhaps the best-selling candies produced by the Hershey Company. This special candy has been referred to as the sweetest thing, thanks to the perfect combination of soft peanut butter filling and milk chocolate coating. But have you ever stopped to wonder how such a perfect candy is produced?
Yes,
We
tell
go
me.
behind the scenes to see how Reese's peanut butter cups are made, as well as an insight into the special techniques used in producing the delicious candy. The idea for Reese's candy was formed in the late 1920s by a man called Harry Burnett Reese. Reese, who worked several odd jobs, was not necessarily looking to start an empire. He just wanted to have enough to provide for his wife and 16 children. But little did he know that the little peanut butter experiment he performed would blow up the way it did.
Who else says
Today,
Reese's?
Reese's peanut butter cups
Just
generate
asking.
more than $2 billion every year. And thanks to the uniqueness of the product,
But I still
the number
haven't
of
seen
candies
how it's
sold per
made
year
yet.
is expected to keep rising. Sales of Reese's candies are doubles as a massive baking tray and transports them to the oven, where they are allowed to roast for about 10 minutes. After this time,
Okay, now we're
the
getting into
peanuts have a golden brown color which is satisfactory, and they are now fit for the next production step. After leaving the oven, the warm peanuts are taken to a giant food processor, where they are grinded up until the peanut paste is formed. This process takes barely a minute, and although the grinded peanuts look crumbly at first, further processing will convert them into a thick, wet paste. This is due to the remaining moisture content of the peanuts. However, this is not enough, so a factory worker adds a pre-measured amount of oil into the processed peanuts. The grinding goes on until the paste is smooth, but up until now, it is unsalted and unflavored. So the next step is adding sweeteners to the mix, which mainly includes salt, sugar, and dextrose. These newly added ingredients are mixed with the grinded peanuts at very high speed for a minute or two. And as you may have guessed, this peanut butter-based mixture becomes the filling in a classic peanut butter cup. A machine then pours several gallons of newly produced peanut butter into sterilized jars, which are kept until they are ready to be used in the production process. After the peanut butter has been produced, the next step is manufacturing the milk chocolate used to coat the entire candy. The milk chocolate is also produced by the company. However, the harvesting and cleaning of the cocoa beans are not done in the factory. The factory gets its daily supply of good and clean cocoa beans, which they process and turn into chocolate. First, the beans are taken to an oven, where they are roasted for flavor and aroma. Next, a conveyor takes the cocoa beans to a machine, which separates them from their shell, while another machine, which works like a giant hairdryer, blows air on the beans at high speed to blow away the remnants of the shells before they are taken to a hydraulic press, which extracts cocoa butter from the beans. This hydraulic press processes the cocoa, and after the cocoa butter and other byproducts have been extracted, what's left is liquefied pure dark chocolate, which is extremely bitter. But I'll have some. Sign me up. I love dark chocolate. Since Reese's peanut butter cups aren't made using dark chocolate, this unrefined cocoa liquor is converted into milk chocolate by mixing it with several.
Is there a Reese's cup that's made with dark chocolate? They have all different kinds. They have inside out Reese's. They have white chocolate Reese's. Why? They have the big cup Reese's. Reese's. Why haven't they made a dark chocolate one yet? Maybe they have. Comment below if you know if they've made a dark chocolate Reese's, because I want one.
Ingredients. These include cocoa butter extracted from the bean, tons of sugar, and lots of milk. The company also adds a special ingredient to the chocolate mix. However, they have decided to keep this piece of information a mystery. All these newly added ingredients are mixed thoroughly until the paste is extremely smooth.
What y'all think it is?
The paste is heated a couple of times until the desired texture of milk chocolate is formed, to ensure that there are no lumps in there and that the ingredients are properly absorbed into the chocolate. The chocolate is then allowed to cool down and is transferred into large jars with taps at the bottom. Now it's time to prepare the cups.
This is what I've been waiting for.
The next production stage. A machine deploys paper cups onto a special conveyor with holes into which these cups are dropped. The technology behind this process is not 100% efficient, so some factory workers are assigned to man the machine and ensure that mishaps are avoided or rectified. Some examples of such mishaps include more than one cup being deployed into a hole or a cup falling on an inappropriate part of the conveyor. While this is a very careful process, it is also incredibly fast, and not a lot of people can keep up with the speed of the conveyor. After this step, it's time to assemble all the ingredients that have been prepared so far. First, the conveyor passes the cups through a machine, which serves specific portions of chocolate into them as they go. The chocolate fillings are then left to cool and harden before the cups are passed on to the next stage. At the next station, another machine adds the peanut butter filling to the chocolate layer. And finally, a third layer consisting of chocolate is added on top of the peanut butter.
Okay, so this background video that it's showing you, I watched a video earlier that was that reporter going in the Reese's factory, and that lady is just grabbing the defective peanut butter cups and throwing them. I hope she's throwing them in a bucket that somebody gets to take home at the end of the day, because if not, that is so wasteful and so disrespectful, okay? I need to know what's happening to these not so perfect Reese's cups. Okay, inquiring minds need to know. Somebody answer my question about that.
Num 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 num. The conveyor takes these filled up cups to a cooling area, which helps speed up the drying process and harden the candy. After the candy solidifies, they are passed through a factory worker who inspects them and checks for any errors like candies that are not shaped properly, cups that were not neatly filled, or double cups that weren't separated at the first cut point. The peanut butter cups that fall short in any way are thrown away. Hey, I'll take them. Well, the
Wait! He said they're thrown away! Why? Why? Okay, look. They have a misfits market for fruits and vegetables that don't make the beauty cut that go in the stores. It's the deformed ones. Why can't we have a misfits market for candy? For those poor little deformed pieces of candy that like are just gonna get thrown in the trash. This makes me angry.
The rest move on to the next production stage, which is the packaging. Like most steps described so far, the packaging is also done using mechanical equipment. This machine works in a sophisticated manner, and it's incredibly fast too, wrapping almost 800 cups per minute. After being wrapped in the signature orange wrappers, each pack is sealed and placed inside boxes to be sent off to retail stores within and outside the country. After all the above-listed processes, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups find their way to a supermarket or convenience store, where you buy them and eat as many as you can in a sitting. How often do you eat Reese's Peanut Butter Cups? Leave your answer in the comment section below.
These videos always amaze me. Let me cut it with scissors.
Life is sweeter. Oh, life is sweeter. Oh, life is sweeter.
Look at that. This is where they're making cool designs at. My brain cannot wrap around
Makes me love you more each day. To my arms to stay.
Confectioner Hans Riegel. For over a year, he made candies with nothing more than a copper pot and a stove. Eventually, he struck gold with the gummy bear. The process of candy making starts with preparing a recipe that will be followed to the letter in the production process.
Anybody
For this
remember the
purpose,
Haribo
companies employ
commercial?
experienced food technologists and expert chemists who know what they're doing. When developing the formula for gummy candy, they experiment with the proportions of the different ingredients in order to influence the taste, texture, and appearance of the candy. The main ingredient responsible for the characteristic texture of gummy candy is gelatin.
I'm just going to say that they don't make gummy bears like they used to. All the gummy bears that you find now are hard and like really, really, really chewy. The ones I grew up with, they were soft gummy bears. The best flavors, the best taste. Oh my, you cannot find them like that anymore. I don't know if they've changed the recipe or what, but it's just really sad.
If you've ever wondered how the candy dissolves in your mouth, it's because of gelatin's thermoreversibility. To speak in simple terms, gelatin becomes thinner the more heat it absorbs, allowing it to disintegrate as soon as it enters your mouth. Although it's the main ingredient, gelatin is tasteless and odorless. Therefore, sweeteners and flavorings are added to the candy to give it a taste. Commercially, both sucrose, derived from sugarcane, and fructose is used, although the latter imparts much more sweetness. To stop the sugar from crystallizing in the candy,
Which means there's much more bad than there is good in it.
corn syrup is added. Apart from that, corn syrup gives the candy more volume and maintains its moisture content. Gummy candy doesn't taste just sweet though, does it? Natural flavors are added to help build the flavor profile of the candy. These are obtained from fruits, berries, molasses, and maple sugar.
But just the flavor, you guys. Don't get it twisted and start trying to tell your parents and your doctors, well, I can have these gummy bears because they're made with real fruit. Because that would be a partial lie.
The impact of these flavors is made more powerful by mixing them with aromatic chemicals, giving them the smell we associate with each of the flavors. The candies are given color with the help of natural dyes. Typical dyes include red dye number 40, yellow dye number 5, yellow dye number 6, and blue dye number 1. Using these regulated dyes, gummy manufacturers can make the candy in almost any color they desire. Finally, natural acids are added to control the pH of the gelatin. This is important because the texture of gelatin depends on a variety of factors, including temperature, method of manufacture, and pH. While the rest of these can be controlled physically, food-grade acids help manufacturers control the pH chemically. Now that the ingredients have been sorted, we can proceed with manufacturing. The manufacture of gummy candies begins with compounding. In this process, the factory workers follow the recipes prepared by the food technologists and physically pour the correct proportion of the ingredients into mixing tanks. These tanks, which are equipped with mixing, heating, and cooling capabilities, are quite large. After the ingredients have been thoroughly mixed, they undergo a continuous heating process, allowing the gelatin to dissolve completely and for the flavors to develop. While in the tanks, the mixture is continuously stirred to prevent burning and ensure even heating. After the candy base has been compounded or cooked, it is transferred to a specialized machine known as a mogul, which uses starch as a molding base. The mogul machine operates continuously and automates multiple tasks in the candy making process. For the starch molding process to start, it is first filled into empty trays, leveling the surface. The trays then move to a printer table where a board with molds imprinted on it presses the starch, creating indents that match the desired candy shapes. The gummy candy base prepared during the compounding process is transferred to the depositors within the mogul machine. The depositors consist of filling nozzles that deliver precise amounts of the candy base into the trays filled with starch molds as they pass under them. The depositors can accommodate multiple colors and flavors simultaneously, streamlining the production process. Filled trays are moved to a stacking machine and then transferred to a dedicated cooling room. The candies remain in the cooling room for over 24 hours, allowing them to properly cool and form their desired texture and shape. Cooled trays of gummy candy are then inverted within the mogul machine, causing the candies to fall onto a vibrating sieve. This sieve, along with oscillating brushes, removes excess starch from the candies. The cleaned candies are then conveyed to other machines for further decoration and packaging. In commercial production, additional steps may be taken to enhance the appearance and taste of the gummy candies. This can include applying a thin layer of wax or polishing agents to give the candies a shiny finish. Some candies may also undergo a sugar or sour coating process for added texture and taste. The finished gummy candies are automatically sorted, inspected for quality, and then packaged into various forms of packaging, such as bags, boxes, or jars. Automated machines handle the packaging process, ensuring efficient and consistent packaging of the candies. Quality control begins with the evaluation of the incoming raw materials. Before they are used, these ingredients are tested in the QC lab to ensure they conform to specifications. Various sensory characteristics are checked, including appearance, color, odor, and flavor. Many other characteristics, such as the particle size of the solids, viscosity of oils, and pH of liquids, are also studied. Each manufacturer depends on these steps to certify that the ingredients will produce a consistent, quality batch of gummy candy. The characteristics of each batch of final product is also carefully monitored. Quality control chemists and technicians check physical aspects of the candy that include appearance, flavor, texture, and odor. The usual method of testing is to compare them to an established standard. For example, the color of a random sample is compared to a standard set during product development. Other qualities, such as taste, texture, and odor, are evaluated by sensory panels. These are made up of a group of people who are specially trained to notice small differences. According to estimates, 160 million gummy candies are produced in factory floors around the world each day.
Well, all right. That's it. Hope you learned something. I sure did. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a happy Easter. Go enjoy it with your family and friends. And if you don't have family and friends, go make some. Peace.